This is an Evergreen Media Network studio production.
I started talking about a movie that I remember when I was a little bit younger, and it was a movie called Dave. I don't know if you guys remember that, and it was about the president had a heart attack, and they found this body double, this guy named Dave, and Dave was he was an accountant. He was just a little accountant, a little storefront, like in New York or whatever, and they brought this guy in to be president because this president was sick, and they were trying to run the government still. The people behind the scenes were trying to run the government, and they just wanted to use this guy Dave for a short period of time till the president got better or whatever, and just be the face. Well, Dave was an accountant. He was a numbers guy. 1 + 1 is 2, and that's the way he looked at everything. He was just a simple guy. And when he started looking at the government, he was like, wait a second, this can be fixed. Let's drop this, drop that, drop this. Let's add more money to that, And he basically balanced the whole government and got rid of all these useless whatevers. And that's how I kind of look at it. When I mentioned Stingy before, I was like, let's pull a plumber in there, a guy who knows nothing, and just 1 + 1 is 2. Because I think when we look at it that way, if we look at government that way, it's more for the people than versus the people. Because the way it is right now with who's running it, it's definitely against the people. They make us believe that it's for the people, and it's not. So when I look at
that's why Trump is anti-establishment. He's a businessman. He's not a politician. I'm not going to say he's an accountant, but he had nothing to fear. He's like, you know what? I can do this.
Right.
Well, remember, Jen,
instead of your movie Dave, the current administration is Weekend at Bernie's.
1 and 2.
Wow. What happened with Jesse Ventura? Remember when he was governor of Minnesota? Yeah. There's another example. Was he? What was the consensus on that? Was he good or bad or indifferent?
He was speaking the truth, and because he was speaking the truth, he's bad. That's when you speak the truth, you're bad. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. But that's why I always say the facts. You can't. How can you debate fact?
They gave Jesse Ventura the called Conspiracy Theory, a TV show. Lasted 2 years. He was exposing so much of the reality of what's transpiring now. They had to shut him down.
Right. But okay. So let's go back to the what if. What if our guy is not? What if something happens? Because they're coming at him. They're coming at him every which way possible. So now you got Maine. Maine refuses to put him on the ballot.
Right, and there's another state. Colorado is one, but there's a
Colorado,
third.
Maine,
and there's a third.
There's a third coming up, and I think there's going to be more than 3.
Well, he's going to stay on the ballot in Maine. He's going to stay on the ballot because he's appealing the decision. And it's the same thing in Colorado. This is all for political fodder. They're trying to do this, but they'll never get it done. He's appealing.
Well, I don't think they'll get it. I don't think they'll get it done in time. And that's here's the thing now. Yeah. Well, the Supreme Court hopefully will be a 9-0 when this thing happens, but it needs to happen fast because it needs to set the precedent. Like, look, whoever comes behind this, like Colorado, let's get Colorado off the books. The Supreme Court, we're back in 2024. Here we are. Hear this case quick. Let's put this thing to rest at a 9-0 because if they try to come at him, anybody else tries to come at him, you know what's going to happen.
9-0, that would be hopeful, but then again, we have a Supreme Court justice that can't define a woman.
Right. So
right.
But this is
she's one herself.
Right.
Allegedly.
We were talking about the Trump, the election. Like during the break, we were talking about everybody expected Hillary to win, and I did too.
Right.
As much as I wanted Trump.
All of Washington, I was there. It was packed with Hillary, 5-1 to Trump.
Right. Everybody said, "Wow, this is going to happen. She's going to get in."
Yeah.
So when he won, I got to admit, I was like, "No, that can't be right. I think they said something wrong there."
I think he thought that. That's what I said on one of the other shows. Yeah. He was like, I really won. Holy Toledo kind of thing.
And so now, he's in, and it's like, wow, now we start changing it around. But, the key thing about it was, look at how many people actually showed up to vote for that. The Republicans came to town. They said, listen, we're going to, the Democrats couldn't act quick enough to make something happen wrong. And a lot of Republicans came out and voted instead of sitting on the couch and just thinking, we got the win. Don't worry about it. Well, if we did it that time, we have to do it in such a big effect this time. We have to come out even stronger this time.
Well, that's where the manipulation seems to be coming in, but we definitely have to come out stronger. But how do you beat that stuff?
That's the thing, because if they've got something in the works that can just take away the votes that were, that
legitimately press it on the board.
Right.
Yeah, they went to extremes to take the election from Trump. They instituted COVID and all of these absolutely illegal changes that they made to the voting rights that didn't go through the legislature.
Right.
Any idiot knows that the legislature are the ones that make the laws. Some governor or whoever can't just go arbitrarily change the laws on voting for a whim. I don't care if it's COVID or whatever. They can't do it. Has to go through the legislature.
But it happened. Okay, so
but that's not going to happen this time.
How do we know that?
Yeah, well,
it's already in place. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's changed. That stuff's already in place from the last election. So my point is, if it's already in place from the last election, then what do we do this election to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, remember the Chads too. Well, let's go back to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the hanging Chads.
Yeah, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So, but what?
That was back with Gore Bush, no?
Right. Yeah. Right. And like we were saying, honestly and truly, Gore should have won that election.
I
think he should have won that. But Florida messed that one up. I think it was. We said, oops.
Well, Florida man, we know we have them all. Yeah. Florida man.
Yeah. But we got a guy now, and I like DeSantis. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, listen, I'm one of them guys that, all right, if my man ain't getting in, then who? Is it him or is it her? It's one of the two of them, and I like a plan of action. I like Plan B, and I don't want Plan B to be too late. The problem is, do you actually think Biden's going to get out there and debate anybody? Can you imagine putting this guy on a stage?
No way.
No.
Well, no way.
Junior, can you? I mean, your son would just tear him apart. On stage.
Oh, you know what I mean? For sure, he would.
And so what do we? That's the thing. It's like this guy's just going to come back out of the basement. Mm-hmm. It's election time. He thinks the votes are going to be there, but I'm scared that our votes are not going to be there.
What I think is going to happen, because you mentioned it the other day, or just a minute ago, I should say, is Newsom. They want Biden out. The Democrats want Biden out. Most of the Democratic people that are Democrats don't want Biden to run again. And it was like 50 or 60% don't think he should vote. He should run again. They're going to get him out. He's going to get out probably in August after he wins the nomination. Once they do that, the Democratic National Committee gets to appoint who their replacement is. You don't get a true democracy or a vote in the primary. They'll come out and they'll pick Newsom or Gretchen, they call her, out of Michigan. There's somebody that they want in there. But the people won't have a choice.
Yeah, but you got to understand something.
Well, they're saying...
Go ahead, John.
They're saying that they're waiting to see if Trump locks it up before they throw Biden under the bus.
Right.
That's what they're waiting for.
Like Vern was saying, he said like 60% of Democrats. Brother, I know it's 100%. There's not one human being who's going to sit there and say, this guy is fit to be in office. Now, never mind another 4 years. Okay, he's going to be dead. Truly, I mean, if he's not, God bless, I hope he doesn't. But he should just live out the rest of his life. You should not be running our country.
Well, one of the problems. One of the problems that I starting to realize more and more, and it saddens me, as far as the Democrats are concerned. You have
two kinds of Democrats. You have the Democrats that just vote Democrat because somebody told them to without actually paying attention. And they're our age and older. They have no clue what's really going on. They don't understand. Those same people that are pulling that lever for Democrats, they don't understand that they got a transgender person in the administration, that the blue-haired people are screaming rights, that party is aligning with BLM and Antifa and all this other stuff. They have no clue.
None.
No clue that they're against, they're for abortions. They're all the things that we, as conservative, God-fearing people want. These people are against it, but the dinosaur Democrats aren't aware that they're being decayed from the bottom up.
Right.
You know, they don't understand that this is happening to them. And then you have the youth Democrats that they could care less what happens with the rest of the country as long as they get what they want.
Right.
You're gonna give me abortion rights? You're going to give me abortion rights? I don't care if the rest of the country burns to the ground. I'm going to vote for you for that and that alone.
Right, because it comes down to the one word, patriotism. There's zero patriotism on the other side. They have no idea what has been fought for so many years to make our country the greatest country on the face of the earth. Why do you think everybody and their mother wants to be here? All right? So you have other people coming from all around the world to try to get into America, and they know more about our country than these clowns do, this new generation coming up. And I'm hopeful for them because I pray for these guys constantly. And I believe that, listen, you just got to open your eyes and open your heart, and you realize that bottom line is this. When we were born with whatever it is inside us that tells us what's right and what's wrong. I don't care who you are. You just have to look at the issue and say, hey, something's not right about that. You shouldn't be doing that, but instead they put the blinders on and they just say, oh, that doesn't concern me. It does. Every single thing that is written into law or a new program put in or this or that, it affects every single one of us in this country, and you can't turn the blind eye. And, I'm speaking to the Republican base that's out there because I doubt there's a bunch of Democrats listening to this stuff. We have got to come out in record numbers. All right? So,
agreed.
If something were to happen, we're like, hold on a second. We just had 10 more million people come out of the closet and pull the lever this time. It can't be close. You can't be close. It must be a landslide because they're coming after the big guy. They're trying everything humanly possible. They couldn't get him on impeachments when he was in office. They couldn't hurt him. The guy was the new Teflon Don, and now he's out there on the street as a civilian, somehow, and they are, let's come at him for this, let's come at him for that, let's come at him for this. And what is it doing? It's delaying the process. Thank God he's got the fortitude and the will to push through, because any normal person would have broke. Right. Would have been like, I don't need this, Right.
So never mind a normal rich person.
Correct.
Right. Normal rich person would say, why am I doing this?
Right. That proves to me one thing. You're not doing it for Donald. You truly are doing it for the country.
Amen.
You're not, this guy wants to see us right. And I've said this before. I've said years ago on this show. It's not about this next 4 years. It's about the next 16 years. We have to get aligned. We've got to get the right people. There needs to be a good president, a good VP, good cabinet. This all has to align to get this country back, because we can't look, he can give us a good start. He truly can give us a good start, but the right VP's got to be there to carry this on, and this is where I'm hoping behind the scenes right now, this stuff is starting to pull together, because I'm nervous. I am nervous. Last time was scary.
You know what's scary about or sad about this too, and I was talking with, I think it was my daughter the other day when we were in Denver. Kids are born and whatever, and a lot of people will say, you can be anything you want in the United States and America. That's what's great about this country. Anybody can be president, if you really want to be president. And this whole debacle, to me, is taking that away. Because it's saying that, okay, oh yeah, maybe you can be president if he gets manipulated the right way.
Right.
Or if it gets this the right way, which is really sad because, I mean, I remember people saying that in school, oh, I'm going to be president of the United States. Look at this mess.
Yeah. You know,
it's just sad.
The other side took advantage of this. And if you really think back to the timeline of when all this stuff really started exploding in the United States of America, was you got Donald Trump in office, he's kicking butt. On paper, you can't touch the guy. The left is coming at him. They can't find a reason. And then all of a sudden, here comes George Floyd. Boom. All right? And it was like the spark to the fireworks. All right?
A complete lie.
And regardless, okay?
Another clown show.
What I'm getting at is that, okay, the Dems had a stage at that point. They were like, okay, let's use this. And out of that came Black Lives Matter, okay, came Antifa, came the rioting, came the Summer of Love, came all this crap they started talking about. Prior to that, what was there? Nothing.
All funded by George Soros.
Bingo. All funded from the left, okay? And here's the thing, is that if you look at our communities, all right, and I'm talking about Republican communities, Republican neighborhoods, there's a different set of values. You don't see this stuff going on in our neighborhoods. Why? Because we have that thing inside us saying, that's right, that's wrong. All right? Regardless if I disagree with you.
Or we were at work.
We're working. I got no time to ride. I'm sorry. You know?
Exactly.
The Democratic base are useful idiots. They're programmed. That's how the communists came into our school systems. They're programming our children. Anybody knows that this election was stolen. I can give you just one example. Donald Trump filled in a stadium for 20, 30,000 people. Joe Biden couldn't get 10 people in those little
parking lot,
with the circles.
Yeah,
during COVID. That in itself, they couldn't do it. Same thing with Hillary.
Yeah, but it's a one-sided media, and you said this during the commercial. What it's coming down to is the independent media outlets to get the truth out, just like this.
Amen.
All right. If we don't do it, who's going to do it? You know. And I say this to anybody who doesn't have a microphone in front of their face. If you got a soapbox, you stand on it, and you make sure you scream it as loud as you possibly can, so everybody that can hear you. All right. You can't debate truth. You can't debate fact. All right, so as long as you're speaking from the heart and you know what you're talking about, and it is fact, can't debate it. They just look stupid.
Well, you know what's another thing that's crazy about this? When Trump was in, and we talked about this before we went on air, the first show today, is how much was the gas price when Trump was in? Right? What was the interest rate on the houses? What was
Yeah.
So was that all bad?
Was
because
$2 a gallon and 2%?
Right. I filled my car up for what, $25?
Yeah.
Now it's 60 and 70.
Right.
You know, so that's what we were paying.
Yeah, but the sad thing is,
and look at the 401ks in the stock market. Didn't everybody I know was jumping on the stock market and made $50,000, $60,000.
Right.
And then how much did you lose the next day when the election came? So I mean, to me, those were facts.
And now you got, you know, Trump's out of office, and those 401ks are now drained. They're tanked. And what's happening is you're seeing a growth of small businesses. See, this is how they get you, man. Look at all the small businesses, you know, increasing. Well, because there were tons of people letting people go that they had no choice to step in business for themselves.
Right.
I can't tell you in this area here, John, you know, because we got the good weather all the time. I can't tell you how many pressure washing guys are on the street today.
Right.
Everybody's pressure washing and pool guys.
Right.
Because it's a small investment for me to start my company, you know. But what does that do to what does that do to the companies that have been there forever? It takes them, because now look, I have to survive too now, you know, coming into the new business world. So I'm going to offer cheaper prices. So the guys that have had stabilized prices for years are like, wait a second, how am I going to compete against? Because the homeowners are all going like, well, you know, I'll give this guy a try because he's $50 a month cheaper than you. So now what's happening is, you know, they're dropping their prices, but what's happening in cost of goods? The cost of goods are rising. Right. So that's a big dilemma too.
One of the things that we have to fight again is the corporate media, the leaders, these people that are embracing all of these, quote, communist ideologies, the transgenderism. I mean, that's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in the world. You know, if you take 50 men and 50 women, you put them on a deserted island, in 100 years, you're going to have a thriving island of men, women, and children. You take 50 men and 50 trans women and put them on an island. You only have in 100 years?
Nobody bones.
Death.
Right. Yeah.
Skeletons.
That's the logic. You can't compete with that logic.
No.
But they don't want to hear that.
No, but unfortunately now it's global.
Well, the Bilderberg Group, okay, that's one. Bohemian Grove. These are secret societies out there that are the ones controlling the world, the ones that George Soros, and that are aligned against Trump. I mean, these people don't want him.
See, I told you, John, he's got the conspiracy stuff going on in the corner. The guy in the corner's got all the conspiracy stuff.
A lot of what Vern is saying, I have seen and heard myself. And to touch on something he mentioned earlier, you had said, listen, these things are still around, and we're going to have the same problem again. There has been great strides in exposing how the election was corrupted. Okay, I can't think. I had a better word, but I lost it. And manipulated. Okay, and there have been great strides to ensure that doesn't happen again. Now, that's not saying that those pesky demon rats won't find some other way to try and steal it, but they're going to be under the microscope now more than ever. This is why they're in panic mode, because if they're going to try and steal it, they can't steal it like they did the last time.
No,
I hope not.
No, it'll be something different that you can't even think of right now sitting here.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because I know what the country needs. I know who they need, and that's where, okay, if that doesn't happen, then who?
You know what scares me? I mean, seriously scares me. If Trump wins, who's he going to pick for his vice president? Is he going to go with a Nikki Haley, an establishment?
Good question.
I would go with a Carrie Lake. She's a firebrand. The governor ran for Arizona, whose election was stolen from her.
I like her too. I like her a lot.
But that's going to be key. Is he going to appease? And this is what happened toward the end of his election. I mean, end of his term. He surrounded himself with traitors.
Right.
And he can't do that again.
Yeah, that was really bad. The way his whole cabinet was changed, it seemed like every week. Yeah. I mean, you got to get a grip on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because he's been in the game now, that he's really looking at, okay, who am I going to put in place? Yeah. And then that is who would be the VP?
Well,
Vivek?
I mean, he needs somebody like
Vivek. Doesn't want it.
That would be good.
He doesn't want it? He should take it, though. He should think, if he's offered, he should take it, because he should think of the country first.
He's a smart, I mean, I've listened to him. He's got some,
I really wish DeSantis would have just rode this one out.
Yep.
And waited.
Yep.
Took the VP job.
Yeah,
and he could take over afterwards. I don't know why, but I'm hearing noise as to why he threw his hat in the ring now too, and I don't like what I'm hearing.
Let me tell you. They don't know. A lot of people don't know this that are outside maybe the state of Florida. I love DeSantis. He handled COVID great. Anyway, quick. He signed a law that affected the constitutional free speech rights of Floridians, U.S. citizens, and he signed this law in a foreign country called Israel. He signed a law affecting us in a foreign country. No one's ever done that before. That scares me. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
he was trying
weird.
to appease a faction who has a lot of power. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's reality.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I just, I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he's going to be, if he ever is a president of this country, I know for a fact that's a patriot that is out for the better of all Americans, and I believe that, who's the female running? What's her name again?
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Look, I believe they love their country. I really do. But it comes down to the right time. And it's not that. This isn't the right time.
I think they believe what's in their pockets more.
Yeah. And Vivek's on the outside.
That's
so
the sad part.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley's a sellout. She said she would not run if President Donald Trump ran. She's already doing it. She's another traitor like Pence.
Yeah.
Speak and do it the opposite.
Right.
Say hello and stab you in the back.
Well, we're
going to get rid of these people.
We're going to have a whole nother week to think about and talk about this stuff again. All right. So like I said, everybody out there, you need to get your soapbox, stand on it, scream loud, make sure you're heard, and make sure that
Vote and bring a friend.
In fact, and bring a friend. Amen. Vote, 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 vote. This is the year. Yep. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week at the same time, same bat channel. Talk to you later.